Live Q&A time here on Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham, ready to answer all of your questions. So load them up by using hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Bad Guy Eyes, appreciate the $2. What percentage chance we trade back with one of our twos? Say like 30%. I'd say pretty good chance. Hard to put an exact number on it, but I would give it greater than one Smoking Jay. Maybe 50%. Two Smoking Jays, people are talking. I think Ryan Poles wants more picks, and if there's not the perfect player there at 39 and or 48, I think trading down's a good idea. Shaquille McNair, bear down. Borom at right guard, Jenkins at right tackle. Possible. I don't know how they view Borom. I've heard not greatly. I don't know how they feel about Jenkins. I think, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess Teven Jenkins starts at right tackle. But as of now, I don't know that. That's why I took Abraham Lucas in round 3 of my mock draft, because I don't know how the hell they feel about these guys. We just don't know. Tamper the Lamber, I'm not trusting Poles. He missed out on Ogunjobi and Bates. Didn't miss out on Ogunjobi. He had a worse medical than anyone thought. And he said that bringing him back could still be a possibility. He signed almost nobody when we have no depth on the roster, and he's let way too many players walk that we should have re-signed. So who are the guys they should have re-signed? And you guys weigh in the comments. James Daniels, we've heard, there's been chatter for months that Poles didn't like him. Didn't like him for this scheme. Too slow. Akeem Hicks, still a free agent, could bring him back. Bears want to get younger. Too many injuries. He traded Khalil Mack. Okay, I mean, if you're frustrated at that, I get that. But, I mean, it's not like this team let superstar talent walk. I mean, there wasn't a lot of superstar talent here. Arthur Rocks, haven't done enough in the secondary. Yeah, you got to get a corner, and they even said that at the owners' meeting, so we need another corner. So I expect something to happen there. Probably need a safety, too. I would try to get a cheapish safety next to Eddie Jackson, get a quality CB2 next to Jalen Johnson, and I think that could happen still. Matthew Miller, what do you think about trading both second-round picks for Chris Olave? I've gotten this question a lot. Some of you guys are like, I'm tired of hearing about Chris Olave. It won't happen. Well, never say never. This offseason has had literally everything. I think that I would slightly consider it if he falls into the 20s and it doesn't ruin the rest of your draft. But beyond that, I don't think it's very likely. Jay Williams, would you trade for A.J. Brown and pay him? Good two-parter because if you trade for Brown, you're committing to pay him at that point. Depends on the trade. I love A.J. Brown, but again, I don't think Tennessee's letting him go, even though there's been some trade buzz around him. He just wants a new contract. And B, are you going to trade a future first and pay him $25 million a year? Because that might be what it takes. I'm probably not doing that if I'm the Bears right now. Name a player that you would trade for. There's certainly some players that I would trade for. Let me know in the comments one player out there that you would trade for if you were Ryan Poles. Now be sure to hit that subscribe button here on Bears Now because we cover the latest Bears news and rumors, plus tons of draft coverage, mock drafts, draft targets. We just did mock draft 3.0, free agency coverage as well. We cover it all. Daily videos for free, consistent Bears coverage. YouTube.com/BearsNow is the place to go. Jonathan Upshaw, your dream first draft pick. Let's just say they don't trade down. Okay? So at 39. I think a guy that would be a home run there, if Zion Johnson is still there at 39, which he may not be. He could go first round. But there's at least a chance it happens. Where, like Chris Olave, there's almost no chance it happens. Jahan Dotson's another one. Those are fringe round 1 guys. If they're there at 39, I think it's great value. Is there another offensive line? Who's the guy? The A&M guard. Keon something. Texas A&M guard. NFL Draft 2022. Let me see if I can find him real quick. God, of course I can't. Kenyon Green. Keep that name in mind. I don't think he falls to 39, but if he does, I think he's a plug-and-play guard in the NFL right away. Derek Young, should the Bears trade Eddie Jackson for 2 day 3 picks? Well, you can only trade Jackson after June 1st. I'm not sure how the NFL works. Technically, you can trade him before, but you lose money against the cap if you do that. But you could trade him for day 3 picks in next year's draft. Would I do that? I don't know. I think Eddie Jackson's here this year, but we'll have to see. Nothing's out of bounds. David Sanchez, what are the Bears' backup plans for a guard since Ryan Bates is heading back to Buffalo? Let's find out. Your guess is as good as mine. They signed Dakota Dozier. I don't think they want him to start, but he's a backup option. Draft, free agents, I mean, Trey Turner's out there. There's a few other guys. I'm drawing blanks on a few pieces, but yeah, I mean, you could. Here's another option: sign J.C. Treader, then move Lucas Patrick to guard. You could do that. So, Poles will have a plan B. We'll see where he goes from here. The boss, thoughts on new playoff rules? Yeah, so we're filming this live on Tuesday. New playoff rules are that in overtime, playoffs only, by the way, this doesn't apply to the regular season. Both teams get a possession now. So Bears go down and score, get a touchdown, the other team gets the ball. If they go down and tie it, then it's sudden death from that point. So I think it's fair. I don't think a game should be, not that a coin flip solely decides games, but 10 out of the last 12 playoff games, whoever won the toss won the game. That's a high percentage. So now, I do wonder this. Do you just kick off in playoff overtime now? I'd rather go second and know what I'm facing, right? It's kind of like college overtime. You always want to play defense first. I think that's what a lot of teams are going to do now. Bears fans, help us out. Follow us on Rumble. We're trying to get to 500 followers. We're approaching 400 quickly. Give us a follow, rumble.com/Bears now for more Chicago Bears news and rumors, plus some exclusive content. Ian Mitchell, how about DK Metcalf? Talk about a player to potentially trade for. I think he's staying in Seattle. If he does get traded, it's probably going to be a team like the Chiefs or another contender. But I'm interested. I think his skill set translates to the Bears very well. If I could get him without giving up a future first, that's something I would heavily consider. Edwin Bond, getting younger is sweet, but understand the vets are priceless. Remember, getting younger also means more mistakes. Still give them a 10-6. What is that last word? Graham? 10-6. Well, first, if you're talking about record, can't go 10-6. 17 games now. But yeah, Edwin, I think you'll eventually they'll add some older vets to help fill out the roster. They also have some older vets still on this team. Not as many as they used to, but yeah. And to your point, more mistakes. This might be a year where mistakes happen, and this team learns from it and gets better from it. Think about Philadelphia last year. I've made this analogy a few times. Philadelphia, I believe, started 2-5. They rallied to go 9-8 to make the playoffs. They got crushed by Tampa Bay, but what a great experience for Jalen Hurts and a first-year head coach Nick Sirianni. Very similar parallels, by the way. Matty Eberflus, first-year head coach. Justin Fields, second-year quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, I think Fields has much more upside. Could something similar happen? Maybe they start slow. There's some mistakes. This young roster is making some mistakes. They learn. They take advantage of a weaker schedule, rally to the playoffs. I don't think it's that outrageous for that to at least be a possibility. Chi-Town edits, way too early to ask, but should we maybe sign next year in free agency for wide receivers? DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, Hunter Renfrow. I think a lot of those guys will get extensions before then, but yeah, that's a lot of good players, right? Like, and it's a good point you make overall, Chi-Town, because the Bears, after they evaluate this year, are going to be able to take some big swings in free agency next year because they're going to have more cap space. They're going to have a better feel for their current roster. So, yeah, I could see going out and trying to get one of these big-time guys. All right, Bears fans, I know a lot of you guys live in the Chicago area or overall Chicago sports fans, so I want to know, Cubs or White Sox? Type C for Cubs, type W for White Sox. Get your votes in the comments. I'm going to be reading them. I'm curious where you guys land. C for Cubs, W for White Sox, Northsiders, Southsiders. Let's hear it. C or W. Ed with a $5 super chat. I don't know what currency that is, but we did convert it. Do you see the Bears going all out in free agency to support Fields next year like the Dolphins did for Tua this free agency? I think that's a good point. I think they'll add a few more pieces this year, probably minor ones, obviously the draft as well. And then if they like enough of what they see from Fields, they'll invest even more next year when they have more money to spend. This first year is going to be a lot of evaluation for Fields and the rest of this roster. So just stay tuned. Anything could happen this year. This team could win 5 games. It could win 10 games. A lot of that's going to depend on coaching, and a lot of it's going to depend on how well Justin Fields plays. Onyx Revenge, would you take Dotson over Treylon Burks? No, I would not. But I don't think Burks falls to 39. If he's there, take him. I love Treylon Burks. He's versatile. He doesn't have quite the straight line speed as a Dotson, but 6'3", 230. He can still pull away from defenders. Powerful. You can use him a little bit like Deebo Samuel as a running back. He's fantastic. If he's there at 39, that would be tremendous. Haunting History, do you think next year's draft class will be better than this year? And who stands out for next year as we tank this year? Again, let me take a sip real quick. I don't know if the Bears are flat out tanking, but let's say they do. Let's say they win like 4 games. How about Jackson Smith and Jigba? I think he's got better potential than Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Now, him and Fields only overlapped for 1 season, and Smith and Jigba didn't play a ton that in his freshman year. But last year, he put up bigger numbers than both. So he's a guy that he's probably going to go top 10. If the Bears are picking there, maybe they can go get him. Ian Mitchell, would you sign Tyrann Mathieu for $10 million? 1 year, $10 million. 2 years, $20 million? I might. He'd be one of the bigger name free agents left that I would consider. You've got the Ryan Poles connection. It's positional value. And he's young enough at 29, but old enough with his experiences to bring value as a leader and still value as a productive player. He's still a good player. So, yeah, I wouldn't do like 4 years, $40 million, but 2 years, $20 million, 1 year, $10 million. Yeah, I would do that for Tyrann Mathieu. Make sure you guys follow me on IG. We're closing in on 3,000 followers. Once we cross it, we'll cook up a brand new Bears Now Instagram Live at HGramNFL. Give me a follow, and hey, we'll cook one up very soon.